BTD6 is the greatest tower defense game of all time, no doubt. But why does it always feel like we're in a weird spot of always losing with this game and where everyone seems to genuinely hate it but still play it? Well, today we're going to be looking at the state of BTD6 in 2026, the positives, the negatives, and what the future holds for this game. I'm going to be splitting this video into 4 sections: content, monetization, the state of the numbers, and finally, its future potential. Let's get right into it. So starting out with the content side, they're actually in a really decent spot. They have been locking in recently. For example, we've got the new Druid Paragon, which is actually pretty cool. But honestly, I'm tired of Paragons. It's the same formula for all of them. And the new cash drain feature is cool. We haven't seen it before. But it genuinely just feels like it's there to exist for power creep and for beating those 1 billion HP bosses which they have been loving to introduce recently. Then they added the Diamondback boss from Frontier Legends, which is actually really sick. It allows you to use it in the custom boss mode, and it's even in the boss event rotation, which is pretty cool. And it's a fun boss, and they also reworked Lich recently. And while this is all really peak, they're focusing way too much on bosses. And honestly, I can't lie, all these bosses are extremely annoying, complicated, and micro heavy for the average user. They have been just focusing on the competitive and sweaty side too much and are leaving the casuals left to rot. Genuinely, I have 300 hours on this game and I tried doing the boss event and I got my cheeks clapped on classic. What? They're clearly making those for the super sweaty audience that knows all the strategies, but they're the most fun part of the game, so it kind of feels like we're left out. Now, the social season is currently active. It is a 15-team event where you work together to complete quests and gain stars, trophies, and rewards. It seems pretty interesting and fun, but honestly, from what I've heard, it's just a dumb grind fest and a quote-unquote time investment slop that doesn't really respect the player's time and literally has people logging into BTD6 like if it was their 9 to 5. They don't want to do it, but they feel like they have to. Which, I mean, props to Ninja Kiwi for convincing people to get to that point, but man, that sucks. There's also the 2 DLCs that recently released, which have gotten really mixed reviews. So basically, the game is still the best in the market and the most satisfying tower defense game ever made, and they know that, but they haven't really been doing much to innovate and change up the gameplay at all. So it really just feels like this. It's the same game that it was 5 years ago, gameplays-wise, just with some more towers and paragons. Alright, so next we're going into the most egregious section, which is the monetization. It has gotten insanely egregious and ridiculous. It's just not possible that it's gotten to this point, genuinely. They recently added the pro powers, which are basically just insanely more powerful versions of the original powers, and you can earn them for free, but it genuinely seems so painful and definitely pushes you to either grind a ton of monkey money or buy them, obviously. Now, a while ago, they introduced Legends, we all know this, which are basically paid expansions that you had to pay extra for, sometimes even more than the actual cost of BTD6, which is just insanely stupid and ridiculous. It has no right being a thing. Why is that a thing? Now, this doesn't sound too bad. I mean, you pay for an expansion you want to play, and that's it. But the thing is, they have been getting really mixed reviews, and it has started a trend where they have been locking so many things behind paywalls instead of how it used to always be, which was you just unlocking them with time and with grinding. And now it just feels like they're paywalling so much content. It just feels kind of scummy, bro. They also have a tendency to lock many quality of life additions behind a mandatory paywall. For example, Fast Track and Double Cash, which are all really decent quality of life, but you better get your wallet ready if you want to play them. The game feels like it's just being made and supported for a paycheck instead of love, how it used to feel. Which makes sense when you look at the state of Ninja Kiwi as a whole, which we will also talk about later, but it's still not an excuse, and it's very disheartening. And I also think a reason for this is a while ago, I don't remember how long ago, they got bought by their new parent company, which I'm gonna search what it is. Modern Times Group, which, wow, they were actually acquired in 2021, so I don't think that's really relevant, but after that, I think it was downhill from there. And also, if I see another paid power or a paid hero skin, I'm switching to Kingdom Rush, bro. These are the most stupid things imaginable, especially the abhorrent crossover powers which have no right existing. It has gotten pretty bad and it has progressively gotten worse over time, so it's really hard to see a bright future in this section, and as it stands, I guess it's passable. but it's getting worse fast. Next, we're gonna look at the state of the numbers. This game is in a really weird spot. It averages around 9.4 thousand players on Steam, which is not bad and actually stable, but it is completely stagnant. It hasn't broken 20k since July 2025, which is interesting to consider, especially after all the updates and stuff they have added. It is slowly losing players and hasn't increased, matter of fact, has decreased players from where it stood years ago, which is definitely not a great sign. It's on life support not because it's bad or because it's necessarily dying, but because it's just not growing. Even with these massive updates, the game was only around 3.1%, and usually this is much larger, especially after a Paragon, but people are just not caring anymore. Interestingly though, the game is low-key kind of a monopoly. It is not one in the actual traditional sense, but it's definitely the most dominant game of its genre on the market. No other game in the genre pulls even 1000 concurrent players, at least like consistently, which puts BTD6 in a really advantageous spot where you can experiment and still have a loyal fan base. However, the thing with quote-unquote monopolies is that they get lazy. They don't innovate, they don't grow, they don't push new exciting content because they don't have to. And next, let's look at also the spin-offs. Bloons TD Battles 1 is still pulling solid numbers like 350 average concurrent players, which is decent for a 10-year-old game, but Bloons TD Battles 2 isn't doing very great. Fireland recently got cancelled and was a huge failure and waste of money, and if you think about it, BTD6 is literally the only thing that's actually keeping this company afloat. So it's going back to the monetization thing, this explains why it's gotten this bad. They probably genuinely don't have a choice, which is very worrying, I mean genuinely. Recently also, the most veteran and loyal fanbase are also feeling burnt out and confused about where the heck Ninja Kiwi is going. You'll constantly see posts like I am getting discouraged or BTD6 is not what it used to. And even if you look at my own videos on Ninja Kiwi where I was like roasting them all the time, a lot of people were sharing the same sentiment as me, which was BTD6 is going in a weird spot and I don't like it. And the general consensus is that when even the most dedicated fans are starting to see the issues, you know you have a big problem on your hands. But finally, let's look at the future potential and hype, the quote-unquote positive. Now, Ninja Kiwi said BTD7 is not happening because they feel it's redundant, which sure. So this means technically they are putting everything into BTD6, and at least I hope. I mean, they're still making stupid spin-offs like Fireland and better spin-offs like the SAS Remastered. However, if BTD6 is the end of the line for the Bloons series, and all they're doing is adding paid powers, hero skins, and not really great content, why should we stay here and why are we not innovating? You know what I'm saying? It's honestly like they're only winning because there's no competition at this point. Like genuinely, if there was a tower defense game that genuinely challenged BTD6 and BTD6 stayed how it was, BTD6 would be cooked. I'm not kidding. However, it is not all bad. The future of the game actually holds some pretty decent positive things. The main thing is the game editor, or the mob editor, I don't know what it's officially called, which is expected to release soon in BTD6 in 2026. I mean, they said that like 2 years ago, and we're still hoping for it, so I really hope that's true, but I mean, I don't know at this point. This feature will genuinely change BTD6 forever, and for the better, absolutely. And I'm actually really excited and hyped for it to release. And honestly, there has been so much backlash for Ninja Kiwi recently that there's no way they're not locking in and doing better. I hope. There's no way they're not. If that's the case, I think we can expect really good things in the future, but as it stands, this game is definitely in a worrying and not great state. But I feel like the only way from here is up. So yeah guys, that was it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. BTD6 is in a weird state. I don't really know how to classify it. It's good in some spots, really bad in some spots. It just feels like it's all over the place, but I want to know how you guys feel about the current state of BTD6. Do you play it? Do you hate it? Do you want it to get better? Let me know, I'm really curious to see. But yeah guys, that was it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button to subscribe. And as always, I'm DrFuture and we'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.